I'm about to tell you why my dream cruise turned into a $47,000 medical nightmare, how cruise lines systematically lie about accessibility for people our age, and why the medical facilities on board are basically glorified first aid stations. Plus, I'll share the 4 alternatives that give you everything cruises promise without the dangers, hidden costs, or accessibility lies. If you're over 55 and considering a cruise, this could save your life and your retirement savings. 2 years ago, planning what I thought would be a relaxing way to see the Mediterranean for my 62nd birthday, I booked what the brochures called an accessible, senior-friendly cruise. The marketing photos showed spacious cabins, excellent medical facilities, and easy shore access. By day 3, I was experiencing chest pains in international waters, discovering that the state-of-the-art medical center was staffed by 1 nurse practitioner with basic equipment. The helicopter evacuation to a real hospital cost $47,000 and wasn't covered by my travel insurance because the cruise line's medical facility was deemed adequate for initial treatment. Before I share what I learned about the cruise industry's systematic deception of mature travelers, let me be clear. Millions of people cruise every year and have wonderful experiences. But if you're over 55 and considering your first cruise or returning after years away, you need to know what the glossy brochures hide. Hit that subscribe button if you want honest travel advice that prioritizes your safety over industry profits. Because what cruise lines market as worry-free vacations can become expensive disasters for those of us with health concerns, mobility issues, or fixed budgets. These observations come from my experience and extensive research with fellow travelers ranging from late 50s to 80s. Your experience might be completely different. Physical abilities and health needs vary enormously at our age. Many people have safe, enjoyable cruises, but the specific problems I'm describing are real, documented, and worth understanding before you book. The medical facility lie hits you when it's too late to matter. Cruise lines advertise fully equipped medical centers and qualified medical staff. The reality is sobering. Most cruise ships carry 1 doctor and 2 nurses for 3,000 plus passengers. The medical center is typically smaller than your family doctor's office, with basic equipment that might handle cuts, seasickness, and simple infections. For anything serious, heart attacks, strokes, appendicitis, you're getting stabilized and helicoptered off the ship at your expense. My friend Robert discovered this when his blood pressure medication ran out on day 5 of a 7-day cruise. The ship's medical center couldn't refill prescriptions and had no blood pressure monitoring capability beyond a basic cuff. They recommended he take it easy until the next port, 3 days away. At the port, finding a pharmacy that accepted his insurance and spoke English took an entire day, ruining his planned excursions and adding $300 in unexpected costs. The helicopter evacuation reality deserves special attention. Maritime law requires cruise lines to provide emergency medical transport, but passengers pay the cost. Helicopter evacuations range from $15,000 to $75,000 depending on location. Ship-to-shore medical transport can cost $50,000 plus. Most travel insurance policies have specific maritime exclusions or require the ship's doctor to declare the situation a medical emergency, a designation they're reluctant to make for liability reasons. Shore access becomes a nightmare if you develop any mobility issues during the cruise. Those picturesque Caribbean ports, many require tender boats, small vessels that ferry passengers from ship to shore. These boats rock violently, have steep stairs, and offer no assistance for people with mobility aids. I watched an elderly passenger with a walker unable to board a tender boat, effectively trapped on the ship for the entire port day after paying thousands for the experience. The accessibility deception starts with cabin booking and continues throughout your voyage. Cruise lines offer accessible cabins that meet minimum ADA requirements but ignore practical needs. These cabins often feature narrow doorways that barely accommodate wheelchairs, bathrooms too small to maneuver in, and accessible balconies with raised thresholds that become barriers. The shower facilities in these cabins frequently lack grab bars in useful positions and have controls placed too high for seated users. Wheelchair and mobility aid rental on ships costs $200 to $400 per week, but the equipment is often poorly maintained and unsuitable for ship movement. The cruise lines contract with third-party companies that provide the cheapest possible equipment. Wheels don't lock properly, cushions are worn out, and replacement parts aren't available at sea. My travel companion's rented wheelchair broke on day 2, leaving her largely confined to the cabin for the remainder of the cruise. Navigation between decks becomes impossible if elevators break down, which happens frequently. Ships carry 15 to 20 passenger decks, and elevators are constantly overloaded. When they're out of service, passengers with mobility issues are stranded wherever they are. The cruise line's solution is typically offering dining room meal delivery to your cabin for an additional charge. Hidden costs multiply faster than compound interest and can triple your vacation budget. That $200 all-inclusive cruise becomes $3,500 plus with mandatory charges and inevitable extras. Gratuities add $15 to $20 per person per day. Wi-Fi costs $50 to $80 per day for reliable connection. Specialty dining, often the only option for dietary restrictions, runs $50 to $100 per meal. Shore excursions through the ship cost $300 to 400% more than booking directly, but independent exploration becomes difficult for people with mobility concerns. The dining situation surprises many mature travelers. The included dining rooms serve mediocre food on fixed schedules that may not align with medication timing or dietary needs. Specialty restaurants require reservations made months in advance and cost extra. Room service carries delivery charges and limited healthy options. Finding fresh fruits, vegetables, or lighter meal options requires paying premium prices at specialty venues. But these problems are just the beginning. Wait until you hear about the shore excursion scams and why the alternative options I discovered work so much better for people our age. Shore excursions reveal the cruise industry's most exploitative practices toward mature travelers. The ship's excursion desk markets tours as specially designed for cruise passengers and worry-free exploration. The reality is overpriced, rushed experiences that prioritize getting passengers back to the ship over enjoying destinations. A $150 ship excursion to Roman ruins includes 45 minutes at the actual site, 2 hours in gift shops, and a lunch stop at a tourist restaurant where locals wouldn't eat. The accessibility promises for shore excursions are particularly misleading. Tours marked accessible often include significant walking, stairs, or uneven terrain that isn't mentioned until you're already off the ship. Tour guides are trained to keep groups moving, leaving slower-moving participants behind or pressuring them to skip portions of tours they've paid to see. The promised air-conditioned transportation might be a bus with broken AC and no bathroom stops for 3-hour drives. Independent shore exploration becomes nearly impossible without significant planning and local knowledge. Ports are chosen for cruise line convenience, not tourist accessibility. Many dock in industrial areas, requiring expensive taxi rides to reach anything worth seeing. Local transportation isn't designed for cruise passenger needs, and language barriers complicate everything from asking directions to ordering food. The timing pressure of cruise ports creates constant stress. Ships dock at 8 a.m. and sail at 5 p.m., giving you 9 hours that actually becomes 6 hours after tender boat time, walking to from ports and required boarding times. This rushed schedule eliminates any relaxed exploration and forces expensive pre-arranged tours or stressful independent navigation. Cabin reality hits you the moment you board. Those spacious-looking staterooms in brochures are photographed with wide-angle lenses and minimal furniture. The actual space barely accommodates 2 people and their luggage. Interior cabins have no windows and feel claustrophobic after a few days. Balcony cabins cost $500, $1,000 more, but often have obstructed views or face other ships in port. The bathroom facilities in standard cabins challenge anyone with mobility issues. Showers are tiny stalls with glass doors that don't open fully. Toilets are positioned so close to walls that turning around becomes difficult. Grab bars are positioned for decoration, not function. The bathroom floor becomes dangerously slippery, and housekeeping provides minimal towels that must be conserved. Noise pollution on ships makes rest impossible for light sleepers. Cabin walls are thin. Hallways echo with foot traffic, and mechanical systems run constantly. Deck parties with live music continue until midnight directly above many cabins. Engine vibration is constant, and anchor chains create loud grinding sounds when docking. The quiet hours policy is rarely enforced. Entertainment programming assumes passengers want non-stop activity and loud music. Pool areas blast music until late evening. Show venues are designed for maximum volume, not acoustic quality. There are few quiet spaces for reading, conversation, or relaxation. The library, if it exists, is usually a small room with outdated books and limited seating. Weather contingencies expose how little control passengers have over their experience. Rough seas cancel shore excursions and close outdoor areas, leaving passengers confined to crowded indoor spaces. Itinerary changes happen frequently, sometimes eliminating entire destinations without compensation. The cruise line's solution is offering onboard credit that can only be spent at inflated ship prices. Medical emergencies at sea reveal the industry's liability protection strategies. When passengers require emergency evacuation, cruise lines document every decision to protect against lawsuits. The ship's medical staff prioritizes legal protection over patient care, often delaying necessary evacuations to avoid liability. Passengers sign extensive waivers that limit cruise line responsibility for medical decisions. The age discrimination on cruises is subtle but pervasive. Activities are designed for younger passengers or families. Pool areas become unusable due to loud music and aggressive swimming. Walking tracks are overcrowded with fast-moving runners. Evening entertainment assumes everyone wants to stay up late and drink alcohol. Finding quiet, age-appropriate activities requires researching specific cruise lines and ship configurations. Food safety becomes a concern when norovirus outbreaks spread through ships. Buffet service creates contamination risks, and cruise lines often minimize outbreak reports to protect bookings. Passengers with compromised immune systems face particular risks in the closed ship environment. Hand sanitizing stations help, but complete prevention is impossible in crowded conditions. The internet connectivity, marketed as staying connected with family, rarely works reliably. Ship Wi-Fi is satellite-based, slow, and expensive. Video calls are impossible, email is sluggish, and weather can eliminate service entirely. For people who need to manage medical appointments, financial affairs, or family emergencies from the ship, the connectivity is inadequate. Prescription medication management becomes complicated at sea. Time zone changes affect medication schedules. Ship movement can cause nausea that interferes with medication absorption. Refrigerated medications require special arrangements that aren't always available. Lost or damaged medications can't be replaced until reaching port, and foreign pharmacies may not carry equivalent medications. Here's where this gets better. I found 4 alternatives that give you everything cruises promise without any of these problems, and they often cost less while providing better experiences. After my cruise disaster, I discovered travel options that deliver everything cruise marketing promises: relaxation, scenic beauty, cultural experiences, and convenience, without the hidden dangers and costs. The best alternative surprised me. River cruises offer the cruise experience with real accessibility and genuine medical support. River cruise ships carry 100-200 passengers instead of 4,000, dock directly at city centers, and maintain partnerships with local hospitals. The rooms are actually spacious. Staff-to-passenger ratios allow personal attention, and shore excursions are included and properly accessible. Drop a comment below, sharing your cruise experiences. Did you encounter the problems I've described, or did you find cruise lines that actually deliver on their promises? Your experiences help other mature travelers make better decisions. My friend Margaret switched from ocean cruises to European river cruises and calls it the best travel decision she's made. Viking River Cruises and Amma Waterways design itineraries specifically for people our age. Ships dock in city centers, eliminating tender boat transfers. All meals are included with dietary accommodations. Shore excursions match passenger mobility levels. Medical emergencies can reach hospitals within 30 minutes instead of requiring helicopter evacuation. River cruise costs include everything cruises charge extra for: Wi-Fi, gratuities, shore excursions, and beverages. A $3,000 river cruise delivers what a $1,500 ocean cruise costs after adding mandatory extras. The pace is relaxed, focusing on cultural experiences rather than entertainment. Evening programs feature local music and lectures rather than loud shows. Coastal train journeys provide cruise-like scenery with land-based reliability. The Rocky Mountaineer in Canada offers luxury train travel with panoramic views, gourmet dining, and comfortable accommodations. Passengers see wilderness and mountains impossible to reach by ship, with the security of ground-based medical facilities and communication. Similar train experiences exist in Europe, Australia, and the American Southwest. Train travel eliminates seasickness, provides real bathrooms, and allows passengers to walk around freely. Stops in small towns offer authentic cultural experiences without cruise port commercialization. Medical emergencies can be handled at the next station, not after hours of helicopter coordination. Prescription medications remain stable without ship movement affecting absorption. Resort-based vacations with day trips offer cruise convenience without the confinement. All-inclusive resorts in Mexico, the Caribbean, and Mediterranean provide predictable costs, reliable medical access, and activities designed for mature travelers. Day trips to cultural sites allow exploration without time pressure or group restrictions. Guests can skip activities when needed without missing irreplaceable experiences. Resort medical facilities are legitimate clinics with full-time doctors and hospital partnerships. Prescription refills are possible through resort concierges. Room service operates 24/7 without additional charges. Guests have private bathrooms with proper accessibility features and can request room modifications for mobility needs. Small ship expeditions split the difference between ocean cruises and river cruises. Companies like Uncruise and Lindblad offer ships with 50 to 100 passengers, focusing on natural areas and cultural immersion. These ships can dock in small ports that large cruise ships can't reach, providing unique experiences without mass tourism crowds. Small ship medical staff maintain higher ratios and better equipment than large cruise medical centers. Shore excursions are included and led by naturalists rather than tour salespeople. Passengers develop relationships with crew and fellow travelers, impossible on large ships. The pace is educational rather than entertainment-focused. For those insisting on traditional cruise experiences despite my warnings, here's how to minimize the risks. Book medical evacuation insurance specifically for maritime travel. Regular travel insurance won't cover helicopter evacuations from ships. Choose newer ships with better medical facilities and accessibility features. Select cabin categories carefully, avoiding interior rooms and confirming accessibility claims in writing. Research cruise lines that cater to mature travelers. Holland America and Princess Cruises design programming for people our age, with quieter entertainment and better accessibility. Avoid party cruise lines like Carnival that prioritize younger demographics. Book repositioning cruises when ships relocate between regions. These attract fewer families and offer more sea days for relaxation. Bring a complete medical kit, including extra prescription medications, first aid supplies, and documentation of medical conditions for ship medical staff. Research ports in advance and identify accessible attractions within walking distance of docks. Consider hiring local guides separately rather than booking ship excursions. The seasonal strategy for cruise alternatives matters significantly. River cruises shine in spring and fall when weather is mild and crowds are smaller. Train journeys work year-round, but offer different experiences in each season. Resort stays provide consistency regardless of season, with pricing variations that favor mature travelers during off-peak times. Transportation to embarkation points often determines the success of cruise alternatives. River cruise companies provide airport transfers and handle luggage, eliminating the stress of navigating foreign cities with heavy bags. Train stations offer better accessibility services than cruise ports. Resorts provide shuttle services and concierge assistance that cruise lines charge extra for. The food quality in cruise alternatives consistently exceeds cruise ship dining. River cruise chefs prepare fresh local ingredients rather than frozen provisions loaded at departure. Train dining cars feature regional specialties prepared on board. Resort restaurants offer diverse options with dietary accommodation capabilities. All these alternatives include meals in their pricing without the nickel and diming that characterizes cruise dining. Medical considerations should drive destination choices for travelers over 55. River cruise itineraries follow population centers with excellent medical facilities. Train routes connect major cities with full-service hospitals. Popular resort destinations maintain medical tourism infrastructure with English-speaking staff and international insurance acceptance. My personal revelation came during a Danube River cruise that cost less than my Mediterranean cruise disaster, but provided infinitely better experiences. Every day brought new cultural discoveries without the pressure of returning to a ship. Local guides shared insights impossible in rushed cruise excursions. Medical peace of mind allowed actual relaxation instead of constant worry about emergencies at sea. The friends who've switched from ocean cruises to alternatives share common observations. They travel more slowly, but experience destinations more deeply. Costs are predictable instead of escalating daily. Medical concerns become manageable rather than terrifying. Cultural connections develop naturally, rather than through commercialized presentations. The ultimate lesson from my cruise research is that the industry's marketing specifically targets mature travelers' vulnerabilities. Fear of planning, desire for convenience, and wish for worry-free travel. The reality delivers the opposite: complex planning to avoid overcharges, inconvenient logistics, and constant worry about medical emergencies. Before booking any cruise, honestly assess your current health, mobility, and budget flexibility. Can you handle multiple deck flights if elevators fail? Do you have the energy for rushed shore excursions? Can your budget absorb unexpected medical costs or prescription replacements? If any answer is no, the alternatives I've described offer better solutions. Subscribe if this honest assessment changed your cruise plans, and remember, the best vacation is one where you feel safe, comfortable, and genuinely relaxed, not one that leaves you grateful to have survived. The travel industry wants mature travelers to believe cruises are their only option for convenient international travel. The truth is that better alternatives exist: river cruises, train journeys, resort stays, and small ship expeditions that deliver superior experiences without the hidden costs, medical risks, or accessibility lies. Your retirement travel should enhance your life, not endanger it.